The FIRE movement is a scam. There are 5 reasons why, and I'll go over what else to do instead of pursuing the financial independence retire early movement. The FIRE movement was popularized by Vicki Robin with her 1992 book, Your Money or Your Life. The entire movement, summarized in one sentence, is to build your investment portfolio until a 4% yearly withdrawal rate of your investment portfolio is enough to cover your yearly expenses for the years to come. Then you can quit the rat race and retire early in your 20s and 30s and do whatever you want for the rest of your life. Hooray! Right? Right? Oh! I quit the FIRE movement myself and I'm so glad that I did. Let's get into the 5 reasons why the FIRE movement is a complete scam. Reason number 1, the FIRE influencers never retired early themselves and are making millions by selling us the dream of early retirement. While you and I retire early and make very little with our investments, they still keep working and get richer from us. The FIRE influencers know that the majority of employees do not like their jobs and want to stop working for somebody else. So they're taking advantage of the employees' temporary rage and using it to make money for themselves. The FIRE influencers who talk about how great retiring early is, well, they still work and make money for themselves somehow, some way. And actually, not only did they not retire early themselves, how they make money is that they sell the dream of early retirement to us. YouTubers like Graham Stephan and Andre Jick all sold us on the idea of early retirement, but they're not actually retired early themselves, even when they're well beyond financial independence. And actually, Graham Stephan even said it himself in one of his podcast interviews that he doesn't ever see himself ever retiring. And yet, he has YouTube videos like how to retire at 30, how to retire in 10 years, and how to retire early with real estate investing. The people who talk about how great early retirement is doesn't even retire early themselves. That tells us something. Now, to be clear, I still like the YouTubers that I mentioned and I still regularly watch their videos, but we should take their advice with a grain of salt, especially if they don't even take their own advice that they give out, because that means we're nothing more than customers to them, someone who they can just sell stuff to and get richer from. Reason number 2, we generally like working on some level, and that's even if we work for an employer. No matter how many complaints we have about our jobs, in general, we as humans on a biological level enjoy working and getting paid. Even if we work for somebody else, we still enjoy working on some deep level. What we don't want to do is work for an employer who is a bad boss, underpays employees, frequently lays off staff, disrespects their employees, offers a bad work-life balance work culture, doesn't offer career advancement opportunities, and misrepresented the job responsibilities during the interview process. The FIRE movement is especially popular in the United States because the United States has some of the most employer-friendly laws in the entire world, which is why there's now very few stories of employees starting their careers with one company and moving up to become a CEO in 40 years. Employees are fed up being loyal to the company who is not loyal to them. But that doesn't mean that we should quit what we like doing, which is working, over the long run. Because even if we have a slight discomfort with our jobs, we still like paydays and getting paid. And even if we don't work for an employer, there's always starting and working on our own business. And trust me when I say, entrepreneurs who work on their own terms are the ones who love working the most. Not just likes working, but loves working, because they're working on projects they love to work on. That tells us work isn't the issue, it's the environment around the work that's the issue. Reason number 3, the ones who actually did retire early eventually went back to work anyway. If the bad FIRE influencers who only sell the dream of early retirement and doesn't take their own advice isn't enough, let's look at the good ones who actually practice what they preach. The ones who actually did retire early. Now, the ones who retired early in their 30s or 40s eventually went back to work. Bloggers like A Lawyer and Her Money eventually went back to work after quitting her stressful lawyer job of 7 years. Living a Fi went back to work after going through a bad divorce after retiring early. Financial Samurai is looking to get back to work or is working on his blog and making multi-six figures in the process. And the ones who are retired but are really just selling the dream of early retirement has a spouse who works to contribute to the bill somehow. The most heartbreaking story of early retirement is Living a FI, in which he enjoyed early retirement for about 5 years until his wife couldn't take the feeling of being left behind others and cheated on him, which caused their divorce. And there are other bloggers who I follow regularly who actually did retire early and travel the world in their late 20s and early 30s, but they haven't even hit their 5-year anniversary yet. So we don't really know how lasting the impact of retiring early in their late 20s and early 30s is going to be like. They may still be retired and actually enjoy early retirement for the years to come, or they may not. We just don't know yet. Even if we never work for another employer, it's still a good move for us to keep working, because on a biological level, we like working and getting paid for our time. Reason number 4, FIRE is a hard decision to reverse. If we retire early, can we always get back to work eventually? Yes, even if it takes 2+ years to find another job, we will always still be able to get back to the workforce. But if we do get back to work, will it be at the same pay level? At the same title? What if we go back to a boss that's 5 years younger than we are? Can we handle that, both ego and emotional wise? What if our business idea that we want to start fail? Then we don't lose just money, but the time we invested as well. And time is worth more than money. Even if we are financially independent and we don't need the money from a 9-to-5 job, the situation is much more complicated than a simple, if we have enough money and we don't like our jobs, we should just retire early. I've seen CFOs get laid off and take 2 years to find another job, and even going on food stamps in the meantime while they look for another job. And that was even during a bull market in 2012. Imagine if there was a financial crisis in the meantime. Retiring early is not that simple of a decision. Reason number 5, myself. I used to be the biggest supporter of the FIRE movement in the past. Every paycheck, I would save and invest over 50% of it so that I could break free from the prison that I felt like working a 9-to-5 is. I even told my friends how liberating and free it must feel to not work for someone else. But what I really didn't like was when I was working for a bad boss and a bad employer who was making me feel miserable. Every yearly week-long vacation that I took felt way too short. And I actually tried to take an extended 3-week vacation and a sabbatical before, in hopes that I could taste what a mini early retirement would feel and be like. Towards the 3rd week of the vacation, I was feeling so glad to know that I was going back to work the next week. That's when I realized I never want to stop working, because making money is a very fun hobby of mine. And the money you earn by investing and clicking a few buttons is different than the money you earn through hard work. Earning money through hard work is much more satisfying. So what to do instead of pursuing the financial independence retire early movement? So instead of focusing so much on FIRE, I recommend just reaching the financial independence of FIRE. It's the retire early part of FIRE that I absolutely cannot stand with every fiber of my being. Trust me when I say we, you and I, like making money. And I'm not gonna lie to you and give you some fairy tale that burnout from work isn't real, because it is real and it happens every day to millions of people across the world. Therefore, early retirement could be enjoyable to recover from burnout, but only for like 5 years maximum. Over the long run and in the decades to come, we are not going to enjoy early retirement if we are able to work. Now, there are good reasons to retire early, but thinking we want to retire early because we don't like working is not one of them. Even if we don't like working, we enjoy making money. Therefore, if it's the 9-to-5 job that's been causing our stress, because it can be, then we should look for solutions to those problems over anything else. If we don't like our boss, the options are that we have to talk to our boss's boss, and if that doesn't work, we have to talk to our boss's boss's boss, and if that doesn't work, then we find another job. Yes, the new job can have an even worse boss, and so finding a better job may not be easy and be time consuming. But speaking from experience, it's worth the wait. I once was willing to take a 30% pay cut to what I was getting paid because I was so miserable. I had already accepted the job offer with the offer letter signed, sealed, and dated, and last minute I decided against it and pulled my decision away. And after not going through with it, I'm so glad I didn't actually go through with it by the end. No matter how miserable you feel right now, you're going to feel more miserable discounting your time and value for an employer who will get rid of you in a second that it's in their best interest to do so. Side note, I offer personalized career advice calls in the description below. $100 for 30 minutes and $150 for 1 hour. Lowest price I will offer for at this time. So instead of pursuing FIRE and making an irreversible decision that just may ruin your life, smash that like and subscribe button for more free content for you to build lasting wealth with. Thank you for watching. See you next time.